I'd like to call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order, please. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, tonight led by Daniel and James Laputri, two students from P.D. Graham Elementary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
If you'll stay right there, Councilman Londo will be right down to talk to you.
Turn around and face the audience. Look at all these people that showed up for you today. About a round of applause for Daniel and James, who came out to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Scoot up a little bit more, up here a little bit more. There we go. Anyways, they came to do the Pledge of Allegiance on a nice, beautiful day. The weather's been horrible lately, and I thought they were going to cancel on me, but they didn't. So we're going to start with Daniel. You're Daniel, correct? And Daniel is 9 years old. He's in the 3rd grade at P.D. Graham Elementary. His favorite subject is math. Daniel also enjoys playing basketball and would like to be an engineer when he grows up. I like the engineer job, but who's your favorite basketball team? Michigan Wolverines, I'll say it for you. Good job. So you don't have a favorite basketball team? Did you watch the game last night? Golden State and almost said Houston. No? Okay. Daniel's excited to represent P.D. Graham Elementary and is leading everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. So thank you very much. Right here, so if you want to take this, should have these ready. Give your certificate here. So on behalf of the Mayor's Office and the City Council, we'd like to present you with a certificate, and I'm going to have your brother move over here now. Okay, James is here. James is 7 years old and is in 2nd grade at P.D. Graham Elementary. His favorite subject is math, too. Why do you like math so much? Because your brother likes it?
Because I can do numbers.
That's good. You're going to need that as you grow older. He also enjoys playing basketball and would like to be an elephant zoo trainer when he grows up. Now, do you have a favorite basketball team?
I play baseball.
Oh, it says here basketball. It says basketball. So, okay, what's your favorite baseball team then?
I like the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, the Lugnuts, the Mobheads, and the Red Sox.
That's a great list. Those are my favorites as well. James is also excited to represent P.D. Graham Elementary tonight and leading everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone could please give them one more round of applause. James, also, we have a certificate for you as well, and if we'd like to invite the parents up, I don't know if the principal or teachers are here. If you guys want to come up and take a quick picture and possibly say a few words. Say anything?
No, they were just very excited to come out today and do this, and Daniel here is on student council, so he was excited to check it out. And James has his job where he leads the Pledge of Allegiance every day for his class, so we're just happy that they could come out and do this for everybody.
We appreciate it as well. Thank you very much.
One more time. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
Present.
Councilman Hammonds. Here. Councilman Hurt. Here. Councilman Hersberg. Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Londo.
Here.
President Godbout.
Present.
Quorum is present.
We'll begin with announcements and presentations. Miriam?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here tonight. We are, I can't believe, already saying that our Relay for Life 2019 is already coming up this Saturday at Central City Park, Tanton Park, Farmers Market. So everyone is welcome. Just wanted to announce it again and make sure that everybody knew that opening ceremony is at 11 a.m. We go 20 hours till 7 a.m. on Sunday, and just tons of activities, entertainment. We kick it off after the ceremony with our Survivor Lap, and then luncheon that we celebrate them and serve them a great lunch in the Farmers Market building. And just so many things throughout the day. And then our luminaria ceremony at 10, which is also such an amazing event. So please come out. It's family friendly. Everybody can come. We'd appreciate all of your support. I just wanted to give you some updates, which we're so thrilled about. We've raised so far $45,936.68. I mean, we're just so thankful for that. Our goal is $60,000. And we're so close. We, of course, would love to exceed that, but we are so thankful we're moving in the right directions. And we have 29 teams, so which is also really great. So we're praying for the weather to hold out. I know it changes from hour to hour anymore, but it looks good so far. So that's what I'm going with. Just basically, oh, and also too, it's not too late to get involved. There's only a few days left, but if you'd like to even go on our website, it's relayforlife.org/Westland Wayne MI. So that's a way to do it, or just come out that day, walk. We need relay walkers all the time. Oh, and of course, we're doing again at 1 p.m. We are having a lap to honor our first responders, and also a red, white, and blue lap at the same time. So please come out and celebrate them and any first responders, and any vets, anything that relates to red, white, and blue. Please come out, and we'd love to celebrate you. We will meet at the stage a few minutes prior and then do a walk. But just so many things going on. I just wanted to say thank you for the mayor, our administration, all of you. There's so many people in this community that have been so supportive and continued support, which we appreciate, and we can't do it alone. And we would just hope someday that I won't be standing up here asking for money for relay, because we won't need it anymore. That's what my hope is. But we just want to once again tell you it's not too late to get involved, but just please come out and join. And I just want to thank the city of Westland and everyone in Wayne. There's been so many people that have been helping and getting involved. Parks and Rec, there's just so many people to name. We so appreciate all of your help. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, Miriam. Next, we have our firefighters. Hey, come on, wireless.
Up top? Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Sure.
Well, thank you all for having me here this evening. Captain Soiko just got called out, so you're stuck with the understudy. But I'm here with firefighter with Westland Professional Firefighters. Tonight we're here to give out our scholarships. We give out 6 scholarships every single year to 6 outstanding students. And since 2001, we've given out over $100,000 in scholarships. So we're going to keep the trend going. And it was a very difficult choice, as always. But I understand that our 6 recipients are here tonight, and we're going to start with the 3 Bobby Faust scholarships. So this is a $1,000 scholarship for each of the students to a school of their choosing. And our first recipient is Kiana Bodick, and I hope I got that right, sorry. Okay. Here you go. Congratulations. Our next Bobby Faust winner is Michelle Farrell. Michelle? All right, and our final Bobby Faust winner is Savannah Shaheen. All right, and our final 3 scholarships are, they are for 2 of our fallen brothers, Todd Stanaway and Brian Wolke, and this is a full paramedic scholarship to Dorsey Schools. And we will start with our first Todd Stanaway Memorial Scholarship winner is Jonathan Holbrook. Jonathan, right there. Madison Justice is our next Todd Stanley. Last but certainly not least, our Brian Wolke Scholarship goes to Allison Reed this year. All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. What you writing? Oh, all right. Even now.
We look this way, big smiles. One more time. Thank you.
On to citizens' questions or input on the agenda. Citizens will be recognized before the business of the meeting commences to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda. Citizens are asked to limit their questions or input to 3 minutes. Is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Yes.
Richard Graham, Westland, and also with Move Westland Forward. Good evening, Council, and I guess Mayor Wild isn't here, but Deputy Mayor Reddy. Before I start, something not on the agenda, but there's a perfectly parked white F-150 parked in the parking lot, directly taking up 2 spaces. It has a municipal license plate number, 086 633. So if anybody's, it looks kind of terrible at City Hall. Under new business, item 1, administration fee schedule. This appears to be much different than the current fee schedule, and specifically for renting parts of City Hall. It looks like residents now can get 20% off on the upcoming budget based on the increase of rates for this year. Can someone explain why there is now residents can get 20% off? What type of oversight is there for the renting of the spaces, and who audits this? How often is it audited? It appears that there may have been some abuse by certain people getting preferred rates. Under new business, item 4, pages 10 and 11 for the police and fire, specifically in the budget. It continues to be a shame that there is no additional police officers within the next budget. Hiring across the state is up, but why not here? Hoping a grant goes through is no way to run a city and keeps retention levels extremely low. Why no increases in our depleted police force? Under the fire department, if I am looking at this right, there is a reduction of 1 firefighter in this coming budget. Is this accurate of 1 less firefighter? This will be a new historic low for the firefighters union. Under page 20, under revenue within the budget. The rental of City Hall is in the budget, and the rent is expected to grow from $40,000 to $50,000. That's really good. This is a line item in the budget and affects the overall income brought into the city, which supports our citizen tax dollars. If there is an abuse of power or fraud with the rental charges, this is against all the taxpayers whose dollars greatly make up this budget. Thank you very much.
Yes, Blake?
Peter, can I please have some support explaining this? I get a disability, so I really need some support. On the question that he mentioned, the city, the discounts, how is the disability community impacted by that? Second, the issue when I wanted to rent, when I had to pay rent for a disability event, and mayor and the deputy mayor said that it would get back with me, that I had to pay money to the Jefferson Barnes to host a social event. So I really hope that we can kind of make that more diverse. And if I ever need support when I'm talking about the issue, I will ask somebody at City Council. Okay, thank you.
Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? We'll close citizens' comment on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion? It's a motion by Councilman Landau. Is there support? Support by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Councilwoman Green?
Yes, item G, approval of transfer of hazard board ups to the property taxes for the summer 2019 tax bill. The packet does not disclose who's going to do that work, if this went out to bid, or who has been contracted to do the work. Is this something that city employees will be doing for essentially the cost of their salary, or who will be doing this work?
Mr. Smith?
Through the chair, to Councilwoman Green. This work's already been done. This is why it's going on the taxes. So it's a variety. We have contractors that do it. Also, if a city employees were to do it, the cost of their time and materials would also be included in the amount going over to the taxes. So, and yes, it did go out for bid.
You said it did go out for bid?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay, can you send me a copy of who got that contract? Because I'm assuming if it went out to bid, it was a city contract. I'd like to look at who got the work to do this work for the city.
Through the chair, absolutely, we can do that.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval to hold the 9th annual Blues, Brews, and Barbecue event on August 2 and August 3, 2019. Approval of bid for cross-connection control program. Administration recommended the low bidder, HydroCorp Incorporated. Total amount not to exceed $86,868, and the mayor and city clerk are authorized to sign a contract approved by the city attorney and executed by the vendor. Approval of interlocal governmental agreement with Wayne County to utilize parks millage funding from fiscal year 2018-2019 in the amount of $42,432 for improvements at J.C. Park and the Mike Madonna Ice Arena. The mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute on behalf of the city. Approval of Norwayne Exterior Digital Signs Project, Change Order 1, and amendment to the Praise Signs Contract Award in the amount of $79,163. Approval of request to reprogram CDBG, home, and NSP funds as follows. From 2013 Norwayne Infrastructure, $9,000, to 2017 JBCVC Improvements, $9,000. Adoption of Roos Valley Sewage Disposal System Resolution supporting a final project plan for wastewater system improvements and designating an authorized project representative. Last item approved on the consent calendar, approval of transfer of hazards and board ups to the property taxes for the summer 2019 tax bill. Moving to new business, item 1. Request for closed study session, June 17, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. for the purpose of trial strategy in Teasley versus City of Westland.
Council President, I rise to a point of order.
There's a motion.
That takes precedent. I put a point of order on the floor.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes, thank you. My point of order is in reference to the rule violation. This city council adopted Robert's Rules of Order for our council rules, and I made a motion at the last two council meetings to have the motion that I asked for support to to table the travel reimbursement for all city council members until such time that we meet and establish a written policy that we all have to follow to prevent the continuation of discriminatory decisions against me and my travel policy. Although it was not supported,
Councilwoman Green, your point of order is out of order since we are not at a point of time in the meeting that we are discussing the minutes of a regular meeting.
no, you need
The
to refer to
agenda
Robert's
item-
Rules of Order. According to Robert's Rules of Order, I or any person on this council can rise to a point of order at any point. I have a book here if you would like to refer to it. I am well within the Robert's Rules of Order to request this, and I would like to continue my statement. As I was stating, I put a motion on the floor, it was not supported. The Robert's Rules of Order states verbatim that a motion, I'm going to define for you what my motion was. After speaking with my attorney, this has also been referred over to the city attorney. During the meeting, those who were present saw the clerk refuse. He verbally stated that he was not going to include my motion in the meeting due to what he stated was it's not the way that it's been done. According to Robert's Rules of Order, my motion was in fact a main motion. The definition of a main motion is a proposal for a specific action and marks the beginning of your group's consideration of a subject. That is the definition of a main motion. It also states, per Robert's Rules of Order, all main motions except such as were withdrawn and points of order and appeals, whether sustained or lost, must be documented in the meeting minutes. Although I did not get support, according to Robert's Rules of Order, that is classified as being lost. However, my motion was a proposal for a specific action that marked the beginning of consideration for the subject of tabling all travel reimbursements for every city council member until we establish a written policy to get in line with what the mayor essentially changed City of Westland policy to state that city council was going to establish its own policy because you all, in my opinion, have discriminated against me, and I would like us all to be treated equally. Now, according to Robert's Rules of Order and my point of order, I would like clarification on, the clerk stated that my motion was subsidiary. A subsidiary motion is a secondary motion in conjunction with or after a main motion has been made. There was no motion on the floor when I made my motion. My motion is in fact a main motion by the definition of Robert's Rules of Order. It is not a subsidiary motion, and I am asking that these meeting minutes for May the 6th and May the 20th be updated to include my main motion, whether it was approved or not, which is in accordance to Robert's Rules of Order. And if you refuse to do it, please, as I stated to the city attorney, point out the rule within Robert's Rules of Order that states that my motion was subsidiary, and which means it would have had to be secondary to another motion. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor for the request to go into closed study session made by Councilman Landau. Is there support?
You have to address my point of order. You have to address my point of order.
Mr. Fasson.
So, as we've discussed before at this table, you have to identify the specific point of order
Yes,
that you believe the rule that's been violated.
absolutely.
It is then determined by the council president as the chair of the meeting whether or not he believes any rule has been violated. If not, then the council simply proceeds.
I have already given the definition to a main motion.
You're out of order, Councilwoman Green. There was a motion by Councilman Johnson. Is there support?
He can't make a motion until you respond to
supported by Councilman Hammonds. Roll call, please.
You are out of order. You have not spoken.
Roll call,
Councilwoman Green.
please.
My point of order. You
Councilwoman
cannot-
Green.
You are out of order with Robert's rules.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
You have not done your job with Robert's rules. What you need to do is educate yourself on the rules, as I have had to due to the actions you all have taken against me. You have to respond as the council president to what I just said in terms
I
of
don't
my
find,
point of order.
fine. I find no merit to your argument.
On what
There is a
basis?
roll call
On what basis?
presently being called
On what basis?
on the strings of emails that have transpired since the previous several meetings that have tried to explain this to you numerous times. So we're moving on with the meeting. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Once again, Councilwoman Green.
What are we asking to being asked to vote on?
Request for closed study session on June 17.
For the purpose of, don't address me, Councilman Londo. Don't address me.
Yes or no answer.
You cannot address me.
Mr. Fasson?
The matter before council is new business item 1, request for closed study session on June 17th, 2019 at 6:30 PM for the purpose of trial strategy in Teasley versus City of Westland. It's a request that my office made.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business item 2, approval of minutes of regular meeting held May 6, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Hart. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilman Hersberg. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
So he has to call for discussion or consent. You can't, see, that's the problem. You all have been able to do anything and treat people any kind of way, and I'm not going to let you get it. I have discussion.
Is there discussion on the motion?
Yes, and I would appreciate if you didn't try to continue to violate my rights. If you have not figured it out in the year and a half that I have sat on council, I'm not going to let you all get away with doing that to me, and you're not going to get away with treating me differently. My discussion relative to item number 2 under new business is that I am not in agreement with approving these minutes. The approval of these minutes were not passed at the last study session. The fact that you just sat here and gave your reason for not following Robert's Rules of Order was because of the string of emails for me having to stand up against the discrimination that you are the ringleader of. And you would, yes, you, in my opinion.
That's your opinion.
Well, the emails are fact. And our emails are subject to FOIA if anybody would ever like to take a look at them. The fact of the matter is, the purpose for me asking for a policy was not only because the mayor changed the city policy, because even he knows that it's a problem with what's going on. I asked for a policy that we all would have to follow. You all have approved travel expenses for every elected official for years. The day that you denied mine, you approved the clerks, the judges.
Councilwoman Green.
I am talking about these vouchers, and you will not silence me because you don't like what I'm saying.
The discussion is on
It's
the minutes,
relative
not on the
to-
vouchers.
No, it's relative to item number 1, the meeting minutes. Excuse me, I misspoke. I'm talking about the meeting minutes. I asked for a policy to be added for council and that to be included in the meeting minutes. I am not in agreement with you all. You basically violated Robert's rules for your own personal and emotional reasons, and to watch you all support each other because you don't like what I say or I'm not doing how you want me to do. I'm not in agreement with these meeting minutes. I provided the rule per Robert's Rules of Order that we adopted, and even the rules aren't enough for you all to treat me fairly. So I am not in agreement with this per Robert's Rules of Order. My main motion should actually be documented in this set of meeting minutes, and I'm very disappointed. by the actions that you all continue to take. But as I stated before, I'm going to continue to stand up for myself in spite of who does not like it. And if you don't want to hear it, then you should not continue to do it. So I'm in agreement with the approval of these meeting minutes. Excuse me. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion on the minutes? Any other discussion on the minutes? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds. Councilman Hart. Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Abstain due to absence.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business. Item 3, approval of minutes of regular meeting held May 20, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Hart, supported by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
Item for discussion. Turn my microphone on, please. I am again not in agreement with item number 3, the approval of the meeting minutes, for the fact that Robert's Rules of Order has specified that I put a main motion on the floor, and whether or not it was supported or not, regardless of the fact that nobody supported it, Robert's Rules of Order expressly states that a main motion, whether supported or they classify it as lost, should be documented in the meeting minutes, regardless of the way that it's always been done per the clerk, or the way that you all don't want to email with me asking you to treat me fairly. Regardless of that, the fact that you are the council president and stated that on the record that is the reason, that because of the emails that I've been sending, and doesn't, I'm just extremely disappointed. So I'm not in agreement with these meeting minutes, because they are not inclusive of what should be in there per Robert's Rules of Order, which is my main motion. So I am not in agreement with item number 3 under new business. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion from the council? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson. Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Abstain due to absence.
Motion passes. New business, item 4, adoption of 2019-2020 proposed fiscal year budget. A public hearing was held May 6, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Is there support? Support by Councilman Landau. Is there any, there were some questions on the budget. Mr. Block?
Thank you, Council President. I'll try to answer them during my overview of the 2019-2020 budget. The 2019-2020 budget for the general fund is a $68 million balanced budget. It adds over $334,000 to the general fund's fund balance, which will bring unassigned fund balance to approximately $6.7 million, while still being able to fund pension and retiree health care obligations. There are no property tax millage rate increases. The 2019-2020 budget preserves the positions for the 4 police officers that were hired under the COPS grant that is now recently expired. And it preserves 3 out of the 4 firefighters hired under the SAFER grant that recently expired as well. Preserves 3 dispatch transition employees for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Hires 1 UAW S6 supervisor position. Hires 6 new ASPE employees. In addition, the proposed budget complies with the approved MERS and retiree healthcare corrective action plans, which contribute to an additional $500,000 towards the retiree healthcare liability above the normal pay-as-you-go costs, and contributes in the annual required contribution for the MERS pension plan. The budget is also a very productive budget. It has many capital reinvestments throughout the city. The major and local roads, there's capital expenditures of approximately $4.3 million. Has water and sewer capital projects of approximately $4.8 million. The budget also includes capital reinvestments for 3 police vehicles, safety equipment for both police and fire, a website redesign for enhanced user experience, workstation improvements for enhanced security throughout the city, handicap parking at Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center, and other capital equipment and improvements as well. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson?
Thank you. I will not be supporting the proposed budget for one reason only. I made a commitment when the budget session started to a lot of people, both in police and fire, if we didn't do something to permanently fix some of our manpower shortages, that I wouldn't support the budget. We did basically nothing to fix any permanent positions. There is a SAFER grant out there, as mentioned by Mr. Graham. No guarantee we're going to get that. We don't have a backup plan for additional manning at fire. We know that fire is 13 people short, and probably police is at least 13, and I won't ask anybody down at the other end to verify those numbers, but I know those to be true. We're kicking this can down the road, and if we don't do something about it, we're a tragedy waiting to happen around here, so I cannot support the budget. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the budget? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I have my light on for discussion.
Your light is not on, Councilwoman, but go ahead.
I'm looking right at it. That's a good reason for you to just turn the microphones on at the beginning of the meetings like 95% of other municipalities do, so that you don't silence people. I too will not be supporting this budget. And the reason why I will not be supporting, the reasons why I will not be supporting this budget is because, well, first of all, I want to congratulate the mayor and his administration for the hard work that went into preparing this budget. I know firsthand how much work it takes to plan for an upcoming year. With that being the case, I am not confident that we did as much as we should have done for public safety, police and fire. Some of the expenses that we approved were not. It has nothing to do with saving a life. It has nothing to do with some of the most urgent matters that they have or that they endure on the job. I think we could do a lot more. I also sent numerous emails, as Council President stated, that he doesn't appreciate the emails that I send, so he would even vote against Robert's Rules of Order. However, I sent multiple emails, and I asked City Council and the mayor to schedule a meeting. I asked that we all come together to go through the budget to see what we could do for public safety in terms of not only expanding the force, but also giving them more money so that we can compete with neighboring cities that are now paying more than us. The city of Wayne used to be considered a training city, or they're still considered a training city, but we're losing public safety personnel to the city of Wayne. And when I sent an email to all of these gentlemen, the mayor, multiple people on their administration about let's go through the budget, I never got a response. So the fact that I'm sending an email, I don't know if the issue is that it's coming from me or my voice is not wanted at the table, but the community wants me to continue to speak on their behalf, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm not supporting it because we could have and should have done more for public safety. We're getting ready to approve another budget for employees in this city, and in my opinion, they get what suffices. But we can have these contractors come in here and stand before us who donate tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the campaign accounts of the people sitting up here, and there's no ceiling on the amount of money that we give them. There was one contractor who we were recommended to give him lock him into a long-term contract and give him a 33% increase. And many of the people who speak out about the emails, they voted in favor of that. But you won't sit down because I request a discussion to let's see what we can do for public safety. So no, we should be able to, we can do more, and we didn't do enough, and I'm not voting for it. And burnout is real. That needs to be taken into consideration. You know, the little bit amount of money, I think they got something that equated to like an extra $56 every 2 weeks in their check. Absolutely not. If we can find money for other things and we're spending $80,000 on signs for buildings, we can find money to put nice fancy signs in front of a building. That's not going to save anybody's life. But for public safety, they won't even sit down with me. So I'm not supporting that. And I'm also not going to vote for it because, as the council president stated, he does not like the fact that I've sent multiple emails. However, the emails were in response to the lack of a the following of parliamentary law, which is Robert's Rules of Order. I have went to the city attorney twice in terms of decisions that the clerk made that I believe exceeded his authority as the clerk, and that was discussed in the email. And I will read for you one of the statements that the city attorney sent to me relative to my concern about being treated fairly, wanting to be treated fairly. This sounds like Bob Mueller's debate that has raged this week. So you equate my request to be treated as the men that I serve with to the President of the United States being investigated for treason. That's the type of response I get. So when those of you who would tell me to just sit back and take it, absolutely not. This is not right what is going on, and a part of it is just totally not fair. So the second reason why I'm not in support of this budget is because the city attorney has stated that he is not going to, he will not act, or he's not empowered to offer any opinion as it relates to what's right or what's wrong, although Robert's Rules of Order spells it out. There are several cities that have parliamentarians on staff at their meetings for minimal monies. The elected officials for city council, several municipalities even have a parliamentary at their commission meetings. Now, if you're telling me that you will not intercede, or you're not obligated to intercede, and I'm telling you repeatedly that Robert's Rules of Order does not support what has transpired, and other municipalities find minimal funds to have a parliamentarian present so that I don't have to continue to send the emails that Council President hates so much with me asking to be treated fairly. If you won't even staff a parliamentarian, and they're actually very affordable, I'm not supporting it. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the budget? Any further discussion on the budget? Councilman Hersberg?
Sure. I will be in support. We got a lot of new things in this budget, a lot of things that the mayor's office looked at this year that maybe wasn't looked at in the past. In regards to public safety, that's just not how it works. This council has no authority to just give out raises. That's through union agreements, and that comes up separately. So all we can do is add more positions. There's open positions in both departments, so creating more just isn't going to fix the problem.
Is there any further discussion on the budget? Any further discussion? Just a couple comments, and that's that obviously, you know, it's a good budget that because not everyone's in agreement with it, which is always a sign of a reasonable budget. There are things that are in the budget or not in the budget that I would have liked to have seen as well. Trying to use capital dollars to fund positions is just not a sustainable position. There's not a body up here that wouldn't like to have more police and fire. But when you look at the projections 4 years, 5 years down the road, there's no money to support it. So you potentially could hire somebody this year and have to lay them off next year. It's just part of the process. We're about to go into negotiations with our police unions to try and fix some of the issues that have come up that prevent or that have caused a lower number of applicants coming to the city. But again, that's, as Councilman Hersberg indicated, that's part of the union contracts. And we don't have the authority nor the ability to just go in and negate a contract while it's in force. So I will be supporting the budget. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business item 5. Adoption of prepared resolutions spreading the millage for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019 and ending June 30, 2020.
Motion by Councilman Johnson. Is there support? Support by Councilman Hammonds. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item 6, adoption of capital improvement program as amended by City Council for 2019-2020.
Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion from the council? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business item 7, adoption of administrative fee schedule fiscal year July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Hart, supported by Councilman Hammonds. Is there any discussion? There was a question, Mr. Smith?
Through the chair, on the administrative fee schedule, there were some changes. Page 3 on the fire department for the cost recovery charges. Those were upped a little bit because of the contractual agreement that went in effect. Also, there were some changes passed in February of 19. Council passed those separately. Those had to do with renting the stage for the City Hall rental, as well as the portable bar that was added. Also, the Park Pavilion, Lions Pavilion were changed. We used to rent it in 3-hour increments. That changed to just 1-day increments. So those changes, like I said, were passed in February of 19. So everything else in the administrative fee schedule stayed the same as the previous one that was passed by council last June. So.
Is there any discussion from the council? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item 8, approval of 2019 through 2022 AFSCME Local 1602 wage reopener.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? I will just make a comment. I just want to thank the union and the negotiating team, Stephanie on behalf of the city, our personnel director on working on this wage reopener. The union members have expressed that they're happy with the new contract and the wage reopener as it was presented, and I will be supporting it. Thanks. Roll call, please.
Council.
I called twice, Councilwoman Green. Go
My
ahead.
light has been on. The way to avoid this is turn the microphones on, but you refuse to do that. So I don't know what needs to be done with that contraption, but my light was on. Thank you. I also would like to thank the people who were involved with renegotiating this, Stephanie and the mayor's administration, also the work that is done by the Local 1602 employees. I am very happy that we were able to ratify an increase for you. and I will continue to support what you do here in the city. So thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. New business, item 9, approval of voucher.
Motion by Councilman Johnson. Is there support? Support. Support by Councilman Hart. Or, I'm sorry, Hammonds. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Councilwoman Green?
Yes, I have several questions on the vouchers. The first question I have is on page 12, under Community Development Block Grant. That's the CBDG federal funding. The first two items total roughly $49,000 for the Liberator Development Group. That is a nonprofit set up of Arthur Warren, who is the Westland Democratic Club president and multiple mayoral appointed commissioner. Hank Johnson, who is also a appointed commissioner. He sits on the Norwayne Commission. Roger Shiflett, Ben Lipinski, Shannon Ziegler, and Keisha Sanders Hadju for $49,000 to their nonprofit. I wanted to know, what is this work for, and how are those funds distributed?
Is there, unfortunately...
Through the chair, I'll have to
Mr.
get
Smith?
an answer back to you on that. I don't have that with me, so.
Okay, when can you give me that information, Steve?
Through the chair, I can get with Joanne first thing in the morning and get you an answer.
Thank you. The other questions I have, page number 1 says deposit refunds it's at the bottom of the first column under general fund for 3 individuals. I was wondering what those refund deposits are.
Mr. Smith?
Through the chair, so when a room is rented, there's a deposit that's put on it. I don't have the exact information on which room or anything that it is, but typically, once the room's rented and we inspect the room, the deposits are refunded back.
So my question is relative to the discrepancy in terms of the fees that are being charged for these rooms at City Hall, because again, I had to threaten to file a civil rights complaint to get a reduced rate, to bring free medical services here to the city of Westland and have hospitals come in and health systems, which in my opinion, it was a free service to the community. And I was quoted $1,250. And then to find out by following a FOIA that Council President Godbout's family got married, which is something that personally benefited him, and he only paid $390. And here's 3 fees that were refunded to these 3 people, and I did not get a refund of the money that I paid, and that was to benefit my constituents. So I would like some type of investigation done in terms of what's going on with these fees, because even this is, I should not have to ask to be treated fairly, but this is just, this is blatant. So I would like an investigation to be done, because it's obvious that there are certain privileges being expended to certain individuals, and it's not right. The other question that I have is under Community Development, page number 9, Mary McGraw reimbursement, $240. Can you tell me what that's for?
Again, through the chair, I'm going to have to look it up, and I can get back with you in the morning.
Okay, Steve, for the sake of time, I will email you the rest of my questions, because I have quite a few that I would like answered, and some of them have to do with conference reimbursements that I have not heard any councilman ask any questions or table as mine was tabled. So there are conference reimbursements on here for elected officials as well. So thank you, Steve.
Councilman Hart.
Yeah, through the chair to Steve, just clarification on these deposit refunds for the hall. These are deposits above and beyond what they paid their fees. These aren't their total fees reimbursed, right? These are their deposits on top of the fees that are being reversed to them?
Through the chair, that is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion on the vouchers? Any further discussion? Councilwoman Green?
Yes, for the sake of clarification and just to follow up on what Councilman Hart just stated, the issue is that there's a different process. That's the problem. It's not this process of refund was not expended to me, definitely not. So if there's other people who are coming in here to rent these rooms for their private and personal enjoyment, and then you have elected officials and God knows who else who may not be on the top of somebody's list who would have to pay an astronomical fee. And I actually am familiar and aware of multiple people in organizations who've come in here and rented this city hall for free to benefit themselves. And so the issue is not this is just a refund of their balance. The issue is everybody should be treated the same. There should be one process that everybody has to follow. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any dissent? Any? Councilwoman Green?
Dissent.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green.
No.
Councilman Hammonds.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Gabao.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We'll move on to citizens' comments or requests. Citizens will be recognized at the end of the meeting, immediately following the agenda item approval of vouchers. Citizens are asked to limit their questions or input to 3 minutes. Is there anyone on my left? Blake?
I'm going to ask this question for support, and I need support with Mike Londo. I would like to address this issue with the mayor's office to the police department. I emailed the mayor and the director of member engagement at the Detroit Wayne County Mental Health Authority a medication error that I had. He did not reply, consenting that Hank Johnson caused conflicts that have the police coming back and forth to my house. So I feel if there should be a reply that I'm emailing something really critical, and I did share this with the Youth Commission in a private meeting, the concern that involved the school district. So my question is, if I reached out to Mayor Wild and can talk to him, hey, I have a medication issue with my staff that gets sent from this city to the Detroit Wayne County Mental Health Authority, and police are back and forth at my house because of Hank Johnson. Which I did leave you, officer, I did leave you a voicemail today, and there are over 40 group homes in this city, and one peer stands up and says, hey, I have this issue with my staff. So how many police reports do you go to? I mean, we all know the group home issue, Chef. You know, the Drake come, everything. So I feel that at the end of the day, if you guys are running for office, you guys need to understand the policy platform with all of the employees that work in this city with the Detroit Wayne County Mental Health Authority that I emailed and I advocated and I sent the email to Mayor Wild and the Director of Member Engagement, Dr. Coulter. So I hope that we can follow up, and I will hopefully that things don't escalate more, that police are being called to my house for staffing issues. And Hank Johnson isn't being accountable. So I've made my peace. I hope that we can follow up with this meeting. And I don't know, on the legal side with the authority and the mayor, but that's not my problem. I'm just advocating on myself.
Anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Good evening and greetings in the Lord. My name is Daniel Burke. I'm the principal and acting CEO of St. Matthew Lutheran Church and School. I want to thank you guys for your time and treasures and talents that you take to give to the city of Westland. As a school and as a church, we uplift you guys all in prayer each week and every day. I want to say I am glad that I am now back in the city of Westland. I grew up here, lived 20 years in the same house. My wife and I bought our first home this past November. November. And I'm glad that my boys will be able to live in the same city I grew up in. So that's just a little personal note from me. As a school and church, we want to thank the fire department. This last fall, they donated some miniature practice soccer nets for us and then took the time to play soccer with our soccer team. And it was a great game. It was snowing and everything out there, so we look forward to hopefully doing that again next fall. We are also, as a school, this week is our final week. On Friday, we are celebrating our 70th birthday as a Lutheran school in the city of Westland, and actually before the city was founded. We want to invite all the councilmen, the mayor's office, and all the residents to a celebration on Friday at 9:15 a.m. is our final chapel, and then at 10:45, 11 o'clock, we'll be having a party in our parking lot that will have bouncy houses, snow cones, hot dogs, and the sort. So anybody is welcome to join us and celebrate the 70 years that we have been educating in this community. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone on my left? Yes, Dan.
Good evening. My name is Dan Statchow, Wayne Westland Veterans Parade Committee. Just a few short notes. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for everything they helped us accomplish this last year with this parade. Police department, fire department, thanks very, very much. All the city council people that received their invitations and answered and participated in the parade, we greatly appreciate that. Special shout out to Councilman Hart for helping with the narration of that parade. It was good except for the liquid sunshine that we had. Again, we know who came and we know who didn't come, so we'll just drop it there. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Anyone on my right? Yes, ma'am.
Praise the Lord. I greet you in the name of Jesus. I have a scripture from John 4:20. If a man say, I love you, and hate his brother, he is a liar. Whom he hate hath not seen. How can he love God, whom he had not seen? I bring that scripture with me and greet you in the name of the Lord. I want to commend police department in Westland first. I heard the chief say, we will bring you to justice, a justice to you. I'd like to say that the Westland Police Department, I got stronger and they're doing better. I congratulate you. Also, I'd like to say the Memorial Day weekend parade, I saw that myself. It took a lot of love for the Wayne and Westland to come together to put that parade together. I heard a lot of people talk about God, the God that I serve. And then I wonder why we can't get together here at City Hall. Why it's so people, when you ask about money, people get nervous. When you ask questions, people get upset. I'm a pretty fair person. So I looked at all coming together of the parade and the people marching together and laughing and whatever. And that just did me so good. Then we get down here, we can't get it together. I think about Stevie Wonder. How a blind man can march all the way to Washington. A blind man gonna lead people to Washington to get Martin Luther King Day. Well, I think about that, well, how we have to press so hard just to get somebody to hear us. When things are done in a different way and they want to do it themselves, I tell the people, watch who you vote for, and stand at the poll and say, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you. You watch who you vote for. I would say do not put the same people in. Okay, also I wanted to address something to the mayor, but he's not here. But maybe I see him the next time. I'm running out of minutes, but I want to say this. Councilwoman Green, you press on, you press your way. As long as you ask questions, nobody gonna give you no answers. Because I know when my water bill went up, and I was by myself, I had to really get down deep. Because right here, money talk. That's what money talk. God not talking. So we like for you to continue to represent. And those people that don't want to speak up, I guarantee you I'm going to ride around the city. You ain't getting no vote. I'm paying my troops out. Ain't nobody going to vote for you. I tell you like that. But I also say this, I only got a little time up there.
You're actually over about a half a minute, ma'am.
Half a minute? Oh, wow, okay. Our ancestors, I'll close with this. Freedom is what our ancestors fought for. We must fight to keep it. So let's freedom ring on. Thank you. See you in a couple weeks.
What? Yes.
Good evening, council and residents. Tim Gilbert, resident, City of Westland. I'm also a board member of your Chamber of Commerce. Just want to let you know, after 20 years, we now have a new CEO of the Westland Chamber of Commerce. Her name is Gretchen Heinke. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce that. She started today. It was her official day. So if you get a chance to stop on in there and say hi to her. Also, don't forget about the farmers market every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thanks again.
What on my right? Mrs. McKinney?
Oh. Okay, I haven't spoken in a while because I was afraid I'd say too much, and tonight I've had too much. Keep your fights at home or in the back room. You don't bring them out in this council. And since you were one of the writers, and this is to you, that it says that you're not supposed to be, no personal attacks on council members and administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. You have broken every one of these rules. As far as the Robert's rules, I wish, what's his name, was Ed Wynn, was still alive, because he knew them backwards and forward, and I'm sure he'd straighten you out on those. As far as comparing Wayne with Westland, they are two completely different cities. Wayne is, what, 1/3, 1/10 of the city of Westland? And as far as grants and stuff, just because you applied for them doesn't mean you're going to get them. You have to understand that. A lot of the reasons they spend money, not the way I want it spent, but because that's the way they're forced to spend it. And Jim and I have gone round and round for years, but I have to say, this time I have a lot more respect for you. And pouncing on that thing has given me a headache every week. There's other ways to get your attention. After that, I want to thank Peter and Kevin and Tim Gilbert, Peter's dad, Peter's and Kevin's cousin, Grace, the Eagle Scouts, and Paul Ruthenberg for all the help they've given me on the Norway Garden. And by the way, that is not associated with Jefferson Barnes. It independent from it, and I'm a little tired of the way I get the runaround. So if you want to volunteer or talk to me, please call me, not Joanne or Jefferson Barnes. My number is 734-721-0729. If you don't get an answer, leave a message, because I don't answer phone numbers I don't recognize or names I don't recognize. And that's about it.
Anyone on my left? Yes.
Arthur Warren, President of the Southeast Westland Homeowners Association. At our last meeting, there were a lot of concerns due to the question of flooding, which we're not able to answer at that particular meeting. So the membership has pretty much asked me to come to council and the administration, one, to request someone from DPS come down at our next meeting. We had people from FEMA who walked the neighborhood. If you can get that person from FEMA to come down and answer those questions with regards to FEMA. There also was a fire person who came down. That was you. You said you were willing to come down and talk to us. And someone from council who will come down and listen to those concerns and bring those back to council in a concise way. And so that is the Southeast homeowners' request to the administration and to council to forward one person down to listen to our concerns. Thank you.
Is there anyone on my right? Yes.
Richard Graham from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. A couple things. First, through the chair to Junior Councilman Landau. Was there something specifically you wanted to say? Seemed like you were talking to me back and forth. Is there something you would want to say to me?
I'll wait till you're done.
What was that?
I'll wait till you're done.
Okay. Regarding the budget, it is amazing. After the probably third year now sitting through the budgets, with the police and fire department, the continued erosion of those departments with the firefighters and police officers. It is mind-boggling how, especially the union force, continues to support, Team Wild and Team Godbout. It just astounds me with the reductions that happen year over year. It's pretty easy to add people. You have a deputy mayor that could be easily let go, and there was a made-up position of facilities director. I mean, between those two, you could easily hire 2 additional officers or have a position to hire 2 additional officers if a lot of the leadership, if a lot of the issues were fixed. To the main thing, about two weeks ago, there was a commitment by, I believe, everyone on council to investigate the rental charge for part of City Hall by Council President Godbout. I emailed the documents via my FOIA to council 4 weeks ago, and again 2 weeks ago, after the meeting, to make sure everyone had a copy showing Mr. Godbout paid less than another person during a weekend. Mr. Godbout in the paperwork had more hours and a significant amount of additional rooms. Mr. Godbout's paperwork is not signed, and especially the one involving possible alcohol at the event. Also interesting is regarding the refunds. It would be interesting to know, did Mr. Godbout then, on top of that, receive a refund? What has been done since this, over the last 2 weeks? What is the update? Who provided the costing to council president, and who told that person what to charge? I can only assume someone holding a very high position of power within the city gave that official authorization. When will an audit be done for all rental facilities over the last 2 years, not just City Hall? Councilman Hart, what has been done? Councilman Landau, what's been done?
Nothing as I know of.
What was that?
Nothing as I know of.
Nothing. Okay. Thank you for at least answering. Anybody else on council? What's been done over the last 2 weeks?
Councilman Johnson?
As I indicated, I was going to look into it a couple weeks ago. I did ask some of the same questions you asked. The young lady that filled out the contract said she did not make that decision. She was directed to do so. Couldn't get much deeper in it than that, but I can tell you the young lady that did the contract did not do it on her own.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I will continue to investigate. Thank you.
Is there anyone on my, sorry, Councilman Londo?
Thanks, President Gabao. In response to the gentleman, Councilwoman Green had the floor, and I just felt you were being disrespectful while she was speaking, so that's all.
I was.
Yeah. Like always.
Is there anyone on my left? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Ruth Dale, Westland. I would like to thank the 19 people that showed up on May 18th for the grounds cleanup at the historical park. Those 19 are David Carrick, Historical Society, and 4 historical commissioners, Dennis Bozick, his wife, Liz Bozick, Ryan Eberhardt, Jonathan Hayes, Eric Stoddard. There were 3 JCs, I only know one name, April Hendricks. There were 5 city DPS workers and 5 court workers. And also, thanks to Craig Welkenbach for being there and capturing some of the moments. In regards to the remembrance ceremony held at the Veterans Memorial Garden, which followed the parade, I had a comment on one of the guest speakers. A Brigadier General Carol Fasson, U.S. Air Force, retired. She gave an awesome speech, and maybe you can still catch it on WLND if you weren't able to attend. Lastly, June 12th, Wednesday, 7 p.m., Historical Society will be meeting at the Historical Park. Thank you.
Anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Hello. Tony Parton, Westland inhabitant. Just want to say a few things, just a point of correction to Tasha Green. The president is not being investigated for treason. It's actually a non-issue right now. I say put things aside and let him do the work of the country, because we're doing pretty good. Number 2, as a Trump supporter, I want you to know that somebody actually supports you. I know it's going to drive you nuts. But I feel that this building is property of the people of Westland. And that when she has a health expo for the benefit of the residents and you still charge her rent, I think that's ludicrous. And I think that room should have been given to her, and I think the money should be refunded to her. Thank you.
Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? We'll close citizens' comments and move on to comments from the administration.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council. Just a couple brief things. As Miriam mentioned earlier about Relay, which is coming up June 8th to 9th, Central City Parkway, you can get more information on the city's website too. We'd like to see everybody out there as much as we can for that great event. Also, our street lights, if you've been driving around town, you notice on Warren, Newburgh, and Central City Parkway that the poles are up. They're not energized yet, but the poles did get up, and DT should be energizing them in the next week or two. So the streetlights that we've been working on should be up and operational. So we're excited about that. We appreciate council moving forward on the budget. As mentioned, if everybody's not in support of it, it's usually a good budget. So we look forward to working with council over the next year through the budget that was approved tonight. And again, thank you for approving ASME's contract tonight. I know Jim Fasone and Stephanie Fields and Dan Block worked very hard with the bargaining team. And 3 of those members were here tonight in attendance and getting them a good contract. So we appreciate council approving that unanimously. And then last but not least, I know that the folks sitting here tonight and council is all wondering what happened on Jeopardy tonight. And James Holhauser did lose tonight. So it's a historic day. Have a good evening.
Anything from the city attorney's office? We'll begin council comments. Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I'd like to start by just reminding the public that you can find more information about my upcoming meetings on my Facebook page, Councilwoman Tasha Green. You can also contact me via cell if you have any questions or if I can help you directly with any concerns that you're having here in the city at area code 734-828-7010, or again, you can find me on Facebook, Councilwoman Tasha Green. Just a FYI, I will be having my very first town hall meeting in the very near future, so please check me out on Facebook. And if you are not computer savvy, give me a call at 734-828-7010. I would love to see you there. In terms of, I just wanted to add clarity to one of the comments by our President Pro Tem Hertzberg in terms of how the process doesn't work with adding people to the public safety departments. Those of us who have a background in budgeting, myself included, it's not just about raises, and there are tools that can be used to expand our public safety department. So if the money is not there in the budget, he is correct, but there are areas that we could have shaved that were less dire than public safety that we did not take a second look at. We also could have discussed the possibility of a millage, which was what I put as one of the discussion topics in the email that I sent to council and the mayor when I did not receive a response to even see what we can do for public safety. So I don't think any of us are so unfamiliar with how the process works that we just think money, if the money's not there, we're just going to add all these people. We all know how it works. The problem is, in my opinion, we could have done more, we should have done more, and we never even had the conversation. But we are more than willing to allow contractors to come before us and ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes more than once a year. And I very rarely see these same opinions in terms of where we can cut or why is this needed. But when it comes to public safety or working people, we needed them to bite the bullet. And that is not okay with me, and I will never be in support of something like that. And I'll move on. I want to apologize to the community. I did issue a statement on my Facebook page to make the community aware that I would not be attending the Memorial Day Parade in advance of the parade. Please do not take my absence as the lack of concern or the lack of support for our veterans. My dad is actually a military veteran. I have several great uncles in my family who went to Vietnam. So I'm very much from a military and a union family. But I did state on Facebook that I would not be there. What transpired is I had a long-term girlfriend who actually, I thought her wedding was on Saturday. She got married on a yacht in St. Clair Shores. I got up Saturday, got my hair done, my makeup done, put my dress on, went all the way out to St. Clair Shores, 10:30 Saturday morning, and was like, where's everybody at? Only to look at the invitation and realize that her wedding was Sunday. I've never been to a Sunday. I've never known anybody to have a wedding on a Sunday. So I had to turn around, and that's why the notice went out on Facebook on Saturday that I wasn't going to be there, because I had absolutely intended to be at the Memorial Day Parade. So, you know, if you can understand this, she's a long-term friend, approaching 50. This is her first time getting married. So those of us ladies who are a little bit later in life getting married, it's a very big deal, and I wanted to be there to support my friend. Hopefully I'll be at the Memorial Day Parade next year as I was for the one last year. Just wanted to take a moment to briefly address the remarks of Resident Judy, who came to the podium to express concern regarding what she stated was personal attacks. I wanted to clarify from my vantage point, I did not personally attack. What I stated was that what has been occurring. Now, I understand that everybody may not be in agreement. There are many people who've never found themselves in a position to have to stand up for themselves repeatedly, to be treated the same. Fairly is a nice way of saying, don't treat me different than you, don't do me how you treat me as you want to be treated. So, you know, I understand everybody's not going to agree. Trust me, I would much rather be talking about something else. But the fact of the matter is, council is where it is occurring. And the brief amount of discussion that we have here is the extent of discrimination that I have faced, and the differences in treatment, and the sarcasm, and the disrespect, and the blatant disregard and silence that I have suffered while being on city council. If you knew all of the details, you may have a difference of opinion, but maybe not. You know, everybody doesn't agree with me. And if you don't, I apologize if you feel that I should not stand up for myself the way that I do. But I am going to continue to do that, because I know that demanding fair treatment is going to make it easier for those who come behind me. So I am obligated to do that. I am also obligated to continue to stand up for the residents of my community, whether it is appreciated or not, and whether that results in me being retaliated against. I took that oath when I knocked on doors, and I'm going to continue to stand by that. So if you are offended by me asking these men to treat me the same way they would want their wives or their daughters or their sisters or somebody that they love to be treated, then I apologize. I wanted to answer Richard Graham's question in terms of what has been done in the last couple weeks. I wanted to make you aware that nothing has been done. As I stated at the last meeting, there is discussion that occurs during these council meetings when we get out here in front of the camera and everybody wants to look good. Part of the problem is I pull the curtain back. And I will be as transparent as possible in terms of what is actually going on. The community needs to know that. We are not actors. We are real people. So when we portray values and character, and if that is not in line, I would hope that you would want to know that. But again, nothing has been done in terms of the meeting, the last meeting we had, with everybody saying they would support an investigation, with everybody saying that they would support a policy for us to get a written policy in terms of travel policy. Most of them sitting here said that they would support that. No discussion at all. So it's one of those things to where, you know, what's politically correct, but there's absolutely no follow through on it. So I'm with you. I would like to see something done, and I've stated that on the record. And lastly, a bit of positive news. This last week, I had the opportunity to attend a training meeting for community leaders. It was a workshop given by our Wayne County Treasurer for all of the many of the community leaders in Wayne County. So I wanted to make many of our residents aware of programs and services that you qualify for in case you find yourself or someone that you know or love suffering through a hardship. MISHDA has a program. MISHDA is the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. They have a program. They were one of the speakers at this leadership workshop. And those of us who were there were asked to bring this information back to the community. MISHDA has a program. It's called Step Forward Michigan. It offers loans and grants to homeowners who get caught, to help them get caught up on their mortgages and their delinquent tax payments to avoid foreclosure. So there is money available through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. And you can find more information by going to www.stepforwardmichigan.org. Also, there's multiple programs that the county offers for veterans and those in poverty and or who found themselves in a unexpected financial hardship. The county is offering programs particularly for veterans for free health care, employment, housing, utility assistance, and more. Wayne Metro, which is one of the offices that we have here in Westland at the Jefferson's Barnes building, they're going to be expanding and opening up several other offices. Wayne Metro also has grant money available for utility payments, housing, food referrals, etc. Another one of the speakers at the workshop was the county assessor. And what they stated was they have a program that's called Make Home Program. And if you happen to be a renter in a house and the homeowner goes into foreclosure, which many of people have found themselves in that situation, paying their rent on time, and then the landlord loses the house to foreclosure, and the next thing you know, you've been evicted, you, yourself, or your family. They have a program through the county's assessor's office that offers homeowners renters the option to become homeowners of that home if the landlord goes into foreclosure. So you can find more information about all of these programs and more by calling the Treasurer's Office, the Wayne County Treasurer's Office, at 313-224-5952. Again, 313-224-5952. And I wanted to thank you, Tony, for what you said. Thank you so much. You have no idea how nice it is to see friendly faces. So I appreciate your support, and for you as well, Rich. And I did not take whatever you were saying to be disrespect at all. So I just wanted to clarify that I've never felt disrespected by you ever. So thank you.
Councilman Hammonds. Councilman Hart.
Thank you. Again, it was a great Memorial Day parade. Dan, Deanna, all the veterans groups, so many to name. I don't want to miss any, but thanks for all the veterans groups that came out. Thanks for all of the individuals that came and watched it, whether at home or on TV later. If you couldn't make it, that's fine. Thank you for respecting our veterans, however you did that, however you manifested that. Whether you're there to be in person or whether you weren't there to be in person, it does matter. And again, a special thanks to Brigadier General Fasson. Ruth, you nailed it. That general shook me to my core. She really gave a wonderful talk, and if you get a chance, do watch the video and see it. It was very moving. With regards to the rentals, I stand behind what I said last week, or excuse me, 3 weeks ago. There should be no special treatment. Council members should be paying exactly the advertised rate. Anybody should be paying the advertised rate. There are rates, there are residents, there's non-resident rates now, and then there was some nonprofit rates. But any other organization that comes in here and rents it should be paying the advertised rate. The only exception is as when we do city-sponsored events. If we have a city-sponsored event that's going on, then the city stands behind that. But I agree, it needs to be paid, whether it's me or anybody else. So I've talked to President Jim Godbout about it, and I'll let him answer for himself in continuation. With that, I will remind everybody, just as Tim did earlier, the farmer's market is open. Go out there if the rain's not too much. Go ahead and enjoy some of the local produce. It's really fun to get out there. I'm out of honey, so I will be out there soon to get some more. And everybody else, enjoy your day. Thank you.
Councilman Johnson.
Nothing more tonight, thanks.
Councilman Londo.
Thanks, President Gaba. I'll start off by congratulating all the young people that got scholarships tonight, and I want to thank the fire department for continuing to support our youth in our community. And then to Mr. Warren, I'd be happy to attend the Southeast Homeowners Association meeting if you'd like. And then I want to also thank the negotiating teams from AFSCME Local 1602 and the administration for all their hard work to reopen another existing labor agreement to provide our hardworking employees with well-deserved raises. And as a few have mentioned already, the Memorial Day Parade was great. I want to thank everybody that either planned, attended, or participated in the parade. It got a little wet out there because of the rain, but as you call it, liquid sunshine, I believe. But it cleared up in time. We had a wonderful ceremony after. And as was mentioned, Relay for Life is this Saturday. People think that they can't participate if they're not on a team. If you're not on a team, you can still come out. There's plenty of teams that you can join. The opening ceremony starts at 11 a.m. and there'll be fun events all day long with many more fundraising opportunities and contests. As Miriam mentioned, they're close to their goals, so every bit counts if you come on out. And I really want to plug the Luminaria ceremony at 10 p.m. It's an incredibly moving ceremony. You'll be tearing up, especially if you've lost someone like I have close to you. The fire department has successfully closed out the smoke detector program. The program was a success, and putting 10,000 smoke detectors in needed homes and apartments it's a commitment by them to the life safety needs of our community. So I'd like to thank Chief Stratner, Harder as well, and the Fire Marshal Division for the success of this incredible program. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing something else down the road, maybe carbon monoxide detectors at some point. As also was mentioned tonight, the Norwayne Community Cleanup was this past Saturday. On behalf of the Norwayne Community Citizens Council, I'd like to thank all the volunteers who took time out to help us. We had coverage at Jefferson Barnes Community Center, multiple community gardens, Cayley Park, as well as along the main roads cleaning up debris. I look forward to future events in our city, and I know people always ask when they can volunteer. Stay tuned to Facebook and help us out anytime you can. And one more thing I'd like to mention on Norwayne, if there are any senior citizens or citizens with disabilities who live in Norwayne and need assistance with your yard maintenance, please contact the Jefferson Barnes Community Center at 734-595-0288, and we'll get that information over to our Norwayne boxing gym as they've stepped up to assist the community. Applications are now being accepted for the 2019 Westland Police Department Youth Academy. This is a week-long program that provides fun, hands-on activities, experiences, and presentations pertaining to law enforcement. The Youth Academy will run from Monday, July 15th through Friday, the 19th. Applications are due on June 21st and can be picked up at the Westland Police Department or found online at cityofwestland.com. The Westland Police Youth Academy is open to all Wayne Westland High School students or any high school students that reside within the city of Westland. If you have questions regarding the program, feel free to email them to bparis, P-A-R-I-S, at WLPD.net, or you can call the PD at 734-722-9600, extension 2493. Lastly, there's been a few motorcycle accidents in our city and around the city. I witnessed a terrible one by my house the other day. It was very disturbing, and with the weather finally breaking, I'd like to see the administration or possibly the police department maybe do a PSA on motorcycle safety and safety for drivers as well. So that's it.
Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you. Yeah, just in regards to the Norwayne community cleanup that took place over the weekend, I was at the community garden on the corner of Dorsey and Nuevo Streets, and I just want to thank Tim Gilbert for the amount of work he did that day. It took a lot of coordination to get everything together. I was out there with Rich the week before repairing some of the boxes and just laying the groundwork. The day of the event, we planted, I'd say almost 200 plants, but we also had to move 10 yards of dirt, and Tim Gilbert did that mostly on his own. He lost a couple of gallons of sweat, so I just wanted to say thanks, and thanks for the support from Vic Berra and the others from the city who came out and did some cleanup around the yard and got the grass cut, even though it was flooded and they had to get the tractor towed out of there. But it's been a lot of moving pieces. More work got done this year than it's been done in the past 5 or 6 years, so it's a complete transformation. So that's it. Thanks.
I'd like to start off this evening by thanking Daniel and James Lapoutri, the two students from P.D. Graham Elementary, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. There was quite a bit of talk about the budget again, and like I said earlier, it must be a good budget because we're not all in agreement with it. There's things that, and that doesn't mean that things in the budget can't change. We do budget amendments every quarter to adjust both revenues and expenditures in the budget. And there are some things that I personally would like to see that didn't make it in the budget, and I'm sure others have items that didn't make it in the budget that they would like to see. So the budget is not a stagnant document. It's a living document that changes with revenues and with unexpected expenditures. So, to have a $68 million budget that relies a lot on tax dollars, state shared revenue funds, and revenues from other sources, it's important to make sure that we review it regularly, which we do on a quarterly basis. Had the opportunity this weekend to visit a few of our parks, and I will tell you, the activity at the parks has been great. There were kids playing soccer up at Central City Park. The splash park was full on Saturday, I think, or Sunday when I was up there. Playscape is always busy. All of the pavilions that were up at Central City Park had activities or groups utilizing them. And same thing goes, there were lots of people up at Corrado Park when I cruised that neighborhood as well. So we have a lot of amenities within the city that, and from a recreation standpoint, our new Parks and Rec Director has taken a very active role in trying to make improvements, make suggestions. He's already trying to get a kickball league started, and I know that it's late for this season, but next year he's looking at trying to revive some softball programs throughout the city. So it's a good thing. I also had the opportunity to play our golf course, and it's a 9-hole course, but I will tell you that the course is in great shape. As even with the amount of rain we've had, there were from 2 through 5 were cart path only. The rest of the course was 90 degrees, as most courses are, particularly this time of year for activity on the courses. The fact that the geese are being kept under control is a huge step in the right direction from what used to happen up there. The greens were fast, the fairways were well maintained, and for $15 with the cart, and I know that they've extended the special or put the special back in for the summer for certain hours. It's a great bargain. So please avail yourself of the opportunity to utilize some of the recreation facilities that we do have in the city. I too would like to thank the firefighters for continuing the scholarship program. You know, they raise the money. They have the firefighters ball raises a significant amount of money. They have other fundraisers as well that they do to fund those scholarships on their own, and it's a great program. There was a lot of discussion about my room rental rate for my son's wedding, and I find it very convenient that Mr. Graham and his political action committee first brought that subject up at a meeting that I wasn't here, even though he had the info at the previous meeting or prior to the previous meeting that I was here, so that he could extend this conversation over multiple meetings. Here's the facts, okay? I did not ask for any special rate for the room. I reserved the room, and I don't know how many of you have ever put on a wedding, but you get lots of bills. I did not look at what the rates that were being charged. Quite frankly, I couldn't have told you what the room rental rates were because I didn't look them up. I just reserved the room. So I received an invoice from the city and I paid the invoice, along with paying for the flowers, for tuxedos, for dresses, for caterers, for dance floor, for flowers, for numerous other things that you pay for when there's a wedding. But I did not ask for any special rate. I simply reserved the room, and when I got the invoice from the city, I paid the invoice just like I paid every other bill. So if that offends some people that I paid a bill that I got, so be it. But there was no action on my part to try and negotiate a special rate, unlike what we've heard tonight that other people have done on trying to rent or negotiate a special rate for an event that was held on their own in this facility. So With that, I will call for a motion to adjourn.